In a world of declining energy, how will mutual funds and ETFs change? Or how would we evaluate them today for what we expect they might do? In this video, I'm just going to touch on some various subjects, just sort of get us close to how we might answer these questions. And, I do a video every week. And again, I wish I had more time to work on this. But anyway, something is better than nothing in my book. So here we go. All equities, debt, and mutual funds are a claim on future fossil fuel use. That's my belief. Of course, that assumes that we can get that fossil fuel. So here's a chart that basically shows that human population did nothing until we started to mine coal, oil, and gas. And with engine technology like the steam engines and internal combustion engines, the diesel engine, etc., the Haber-Bosch process for creating ammonia for fertilizer, that's when we had population explosion. So there's a direct connection. In fact, again, I think energy is everything. And here's a chart that basically shows you that, yes, I mean, there's no such thing as a rich country with no energy. So countries that have access to a lot of energy, they are rich, and ones that don't, they're poor. Now, the Kish tablet from Iraq dates around 3500 BC, so that's like 5,500 years ago, and records the transfer of land, livestock, or other goods. I'm not sure which. But I want to point out that securities based on some sort of asset is nothing new. It's been around forever. So if they had energy back then, they would have had stock securities back then. I guess is the argument that I'm going to make. So again, yeah, we've had financial securities for over 5,500 years. And fossil fuel energy created an explosion in securitization types and amounts. And as the economist Steve Keen states, labor without energy is a corpse. Capital without energy is a sculpture. I think that's very true. And he says data shows a 0.99 correlation between energy and GDP. And, that's something you can prove or not prove, but I certainly believe it. So the first stock certificates came out in the 1600s for the Dutch East India Company. And really, what was that company doing? It built ships, and it used wind power for trading. So in a sense, the wind power of the ships allowed the ships to go across the seas and get stuff and bring it back, transportation like we have today. So you sort of had the stock certificates in the Dutch East India companies were really for transportation, like a trucking industry. I'd say like a shipping industry, right? It's the first shipping industry. And then came railroad, coal and steam, and that would create even more securities, tons of securities for all those railroads. And then we had the first oil wells in the 1850s and refined gas and automobiles and diesel. And then another big jump was nuclear fission in the 1950s. But that was the last significant energy source discovered. And then in 2001, the number of mutual funds were greater than the number of company stocks. And I think that's very important, but I'm not going to get into all that here. So if we look at today's reserves, coal and gas are like 25 to 50% remaining. There's a lot more gas, and that's why you're seeing a lot more of it. Again, this is another subject we can go into a tangent. But I just want to point out that we've mined most of the oil and coal. Now, people will, it's a very controversial thing. But I think even the ones that doubt it don't doubt that a lot of it has been mined, okay? So what's going to happen is we're going to have a decline because of both less reserves, there's less in the ground, and then greater expenses to extract. So that's this yellow thing. So even though there might be, let's say we even only went through 25% of it, and there's 75% coal, oil, and gas in the ground, it's very expensive to get, right? Fracking takes water, sand, a lot of pressure to get it. So all that oil that you're spending getting oil decreases the amount that you're getting. That's what this is showing, that we've, up until this point, even though the expenses have been getting greater, we're still getting more gas and oil and whatever, though it's been declining. But now the expense is just getting too high, and then, of course, we're running out, and that's why we're going to have now basically a down period. And then this basically shows how fracking saved the economy after 2010. Some people believe that 2008, that was partly because that we are getting to peak oil with, sort of conventional field oil right here as it was going down. But around this period, actually, fracking took over, and it was really incredible. So you had this and this, and then we're back to the same amount of production. And this is the line of population. And again, these are all diesel trucks, right? I mean, without diesel, they don't go anywhere.
Good Englishmen were working to increase trade in Britain.
And I want to show that. So diesel, this is diesel, how much diesel is basically refined. So it's really been stable since 2018. Yet our total debt growth is going up. And as I mentioned, there should, all debt in a sense is an expectation of what you're going to do with energy in the future. So if you're not getting more energy, if you're basically plateaued in the amount of diesel you can produce, but you keep creating this debt, how is the manufacturing, the productivity that this really represents, how's that going to pay this off? It's not going up, right? So your securitization, the inflation of money and securities, I don't think is going to be. Anyway, that's sort of, in a sense, this is like sort of the root argument is that there's not enough energy to pay back the securitization in a very broad sense. And here's insurance, and you can see it's just really ramped up. Now, it's either ramped up, it could have ramped up because of climate change, right? It's destroying a lot of things. But it also could ramp up just because, again, if we are entering a period of more and more expensive oil and gas and coal and whatever, then obviously this would go up, right? Because of just general expenses. And this is just a map of what England controlled in the 1920s. And that's just how much things changed, right? I mean, here's Saudi Arabia. So in the U.S. basically started really producing its oil in a big way, and plus Saudi Arabia, whatever, after World War II. Of course, it changed all of that. All right, thanks for watching. Again, I hope to do much more reasoned videos about this, but that's just sort of like give you a taste of where I'll be going in the future. Thanks for watching.